Hello and welcome to another Star Citizen FAQ, today answering a multitude of questions on the game, including the physical damage model, additions to planets, solo player options for manned turrets, min system specs for your PC, and short-term optimizations to the game. How well will your PC, or can your PC, run Star Citizen? If you go to robertspaceindustriescom/telemetry, there's a load of information there, literally showing minimum specs and how other people's systems and hardware are performing in Star Citizen at the moment. The minimum requirements are listed as Windows 7, 8, or 9, 64-bit, a DirectX 11 graphics card with 4GB of memory recommended. From personal experience, a GeForce 960 or Radeon 380 or equivalent are really the minimum you could probably do with. A quad-core CPU, even a second generation i7 does pretty well here, 2600K. There have been some issues with AMD CPUs, even Threadrippers struggling though, not particularly optimized for Threadrippers at the moment. However, they are going to be scaling CPUs for more cores and stuff in the future, so expect that to get better and better. 16 gigs of system RAM is recommended, and installing the game on an SSD is incredibly strongly recommended. I wouldn't recommend putting Star Citizen on a standard hard drive. It just takes too long to load and there's stuttering issues if it needs to grab any info off the hard drive. Star Citizen is a lot more accessible than it was a year or so ago in regards to performance. They are, however, still working on Vulkan integration and various other major performance improvements. Will cities and planets get more additions in the future? Star Citizen will keep on iterating and adding to the planets that they put into the game. Area 18, ArcCorp, Lorville, Hurston will all get improvements and new areas. They're going to be opening up hospitals there, new areas around the planet, new landing zones, mission areas, but also better procedural generation. The areas around cities in some cases may be used for physical player hubs and hangars. As these planets are so huge, they have a lot of room to play with, but don't assume the planet is done when they put it into the game, or a city is done. They will keep on adding to that, improving the buildings there. At the moment, for Area 18 even, they're adding a load more buildings, different types, even a big round donut one. And we've actually seen some hints that there might be racetrack on Area 18 in the future as well. When it comes to features on planets and moons, they have been working on larger scale natural features, but also they do have, or at least have talked about, procedural rivers, roads, and caves for the future as well. Is the new flight model done? Well, in 3.5, we have a new flight model, and it's far from completed. Hover mode is being added in Alpha 3.6, and this is going to vastly improve the behavior of ships flying at low speeds in gravity and in atmosphere. Players will be able to manually control the state of their VTOL thrusters as ships enter a special mode in which players must focus on balancing the ship as it hovers. This will make hovering more realistic and add depth to atmospheric flight gameplay, but the flight model needs tweaking for each ship hull. Thruster amounts, bugs need to be fixed. There's a load of quality of life improvements and much more to do for ships in space. Obviously, getting the flight model nailed down is incredibly important and likely to be the priority until Squadron 42 Episode 1 is released. That's mainly because they need that flight model to be pretty nailed down for Squadron 42 Episode 1. When it comes to PvE and PvP, again, expect the PvE experience to be more polished, as it's more important to Squadron 42 Episode 1 than PvP, which will require more balance and weapon balance and improvements to it that it will continue to get on into the future. Obviously, PvE might get some improvements as well, especially when it comes to the multiplayer stuff. On the persistent universe side, that's going to suffer or might be broken or might need quality of life improvements or might need additions and like prediction and all the server stuff that the flight model and combat will need that Squadron 42 doesn't necessarily need. What is going on with the Faceware cam? Faceware are still making a camera for Star Citizen's Voip face over IP to give it the best possible experience for that. However, beyond that, we don't actually know when they're going to show any more. It's speculated that we will hear some more on the camera at CitizenCon 2019. Will there be water gameplay? We're going to have swimming, or at least swimming's planned for Alpha 3.7, which is going to be potentially now in September, but Cloud Imperium have also previously suggested boats, underwater caves, and exploration potentially in the future. There are other features on the Squadron 42 roadmap that are not on the Star Citizen roadmap. Are all of these features going to come across to the persistent universe? Well, yes, most of them are. There might be a few specific to Squadron 42, like saving and loading. A few highlights of ones that are on the Squadron 42 roadmap that will be coming across that are pretty important, but aren't currently on the Star Citizen roadmap are the physical damage system, making use of the physics engine to create a system that looks spectacular, as well as behaves realistically when large objects such as ships are being damaged by weaponry or colliding with other ships and locations or even planets. Body dragging, implementing the initial functionality for players to move incapacitated or dead NPCs by dragging the body around an environment. Player sliding. This is very Apex Legends. The feature includes a new traversal method for players, allowing them to traverse short distances by sliding along the floor, and will add new elements to combat spaces. Cloth sim improvements for better looking material movement and environmental effects on them, so you'll see like wind blowing flags properly, not faked. We will see a lot more improvements to Star Citizen come across from Squadron 42 that are both listed on the roadmap, and many that are not shown yet. Other than server-side object container streaming and server meshing, what else is needed in the short term for Star Citizen for client or server-side improvements? Well, there's a lot they can optimize. However, on-demand physicalization, V2, is actually on the Squadron 42 roadmap, and an enhanced piece of core tech tied to object container streaming that will only physicalize objects around the player that are needed. This feature is needed due to the sheer size of the universe and number of objects in it. Aside from other uses, this will help cut down on performance requirements and allow for smoother play. I believe it simulates anything that it doesn't need to have physicalized at that particular moment. So this is because it's too far away from you and you don't need to physically see it or physically be able to touch it or whatever. Obviously, a very important piece of tech there. Can we expect to see any improvement to the trade and cargo gameplay? Yes, I've recently done a full video on the subject, links below to that. How far off are NPC crews for player ships? They are still building out NPC AI for ships and stations that they're going to be using on the ships, and how to simulate and physicalize those NPCs when they're being looked at, when they're not, how you're going to use them on capital ships. We should hear more about this after Squadron 42 is released, potentially at CitizenCon as well, I suppose. Will the pilot be able to make use of a manned turret without additional crew? If it's just him there and like on the Hurricane, a manned turret at the back or whatever. There are some things that have been talked about here. AI blades and modules that will allow you to automate some manned turrets. You put a blade in there, you put a little thing in your computer slot, and then it will automatically shoot enemy targets or whatever. NPC or real crew can be hired at some point as well in the future to man that turret. Also, as mentioned in the Hurricane Q&A, they want the ability for some turrets to be slaved to fire in a fixed position forwards from the pilot control. There will be trade-offs for not using a player as a gunner. They want other players to be the best choice in pretty much all the circumstances. However, there's sort of like trade-offs will be in versatility, convenience, and performance. Does Voip lip sync to your character? Voip does not currently lip sync to your character. If you use Voip as well, the face over IP with voice over IP, then your facial movements should sync with your audio. With some of the tech they use for their Voip and Voip though, it shouldn't be hard for them to have lip sync with Voip if they wanted it in the future. I'm not sure if there's a technical sort of like barrier to that, or if they've already got it planned or something. We'll find out in the future. Can I upgrade or split ships if I buy bundle ship packages and like 3 ships in a single package? Ships or vehicles in a bundle can be individually upgraded, but not individually gifted. If you wish to mount a ship in your bundle, that you will have to mount the whole bundle. And that was regarding ships that are purchased with real money on the website. Does the Ranger work as a lifetime insurance token? If you buy a Warbond Ranger, then it appears that you can upgrade it to another ship or vehicle. Obviously, if you want a limited ship, then you have to wait until it goes on sale. If I am an RSI subscriber, can I buy the previous month's sub-flare? Yes, you can buy any previous sub-flare, armor, hangar items, and more if you're a subscriber. You can buy multiples if you want as well of those items. When servers reset, will you keep the ships that you bought with Alpha UEC? When servers are reset, currently at least every 3 months with every major update, you lose all of your Alpha UEC progress and Alpha UEC purchases that you made in-game, and generated in-game. This will change in the future, obviously, and they will be moving on to just using UEC. When they do that, that should be permanent progress in the game, but that is a way off. Can the starter ships, Aurora and Mustang, do delivery missions? The Aurora can, if you sort of place boxes behind the cockpit chair. The Mustang Alpha doesn't have any room for mission boxes at this stage in 3.5. Some delivery missions just require you to carry an item on your person rather than a box, though. We might be able to hold small mission boxes in the store all containers on those ships in the future. Can the P-52, the Parasite snub fighter thing, dock and undock with the Connie yet? The Parasite ship requires ship-to-ship docking and ship-to-station docking, both planned for Alpha 3.8 to be complete before it can be included. However, we don't know if that Parasite docking will be in 3.8 itself. It might be coming a little bit later. What is the next RSI subscriber free fly ship? For the rest of May, we have the Valkyrie, and for June, it appears that we have the 600i Touring. And that's the end of this week's FAQ. If you have a question that you would like to appear in here, you might already know the answer. You might just think it's something that people should know, or it's an interesting question to ask, or it's something that you want me to try and get a dev to answer, or you want me to answer, whatever, then chuck it in the comments below. I will try and get it answered at some point, whether it's included in the weekly FAQ or in another video or whatever, remains to be seen. Every month we have a ship giveaway on the channel for May 2019. It's for another Drake Corsair exploration ship, donated in the name of the People's Radio. They are a 24/7 radio station providing music in the Verse News and in Law commercials, and are operated by the People's Alliance of Levski. To be in for a chance of winning that ship, be subscribed to my YouTube channel and comment on any of my videos made during the month. Links to the People's Radio and more information on the giveaway in the description below. If you are looking for a gaming PC or to upgrade, then instead consider Shadow Cloud gaming PCs, which leverage your internet connection and a data center to turn any device, your old PC, a phone, a tablet, a laptop, whatever, into a powerful Windows 10 gaming environment. It's subscription-based, so won't break the bank, and is a fantastic alternative to buying your own PC. If you are looking for a VPN, then I use NordVPN as well. It's mega cheap, allows me to upload, play games, browse with more security and privacy than I would otherwise have. For both of those, links are below, and use the code BoredGamer to receive a discount on either. BoredGamer is supported by its community via Patreon, the YouTube join button, Subscribestar, Twitch, direct donations, people throwing ships at me. Massive thank you to everyone that goes that extra mile to support me. It genuinely does help. Just like everything else, links are below for people that would like to get involved with that as well. But if you want to give feedback, there are details there that you can get onto my Discord, discord.gg/BoredGamer, or contact@boredgamer.co.uk if you want to send me an email. Just get in contact, give me feedback. Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you.